One thing that is common across all forms of abuse is the isolation that is essential to its success. Abuse happens in the shadows while you're alone. The mask of the benevolent human comes off behind closed doors, and no one knows who you deal with when it's just the two of you. But the isolation doesn't end when the abuse does, and here's how to remedy that. Welcome to Waking Up from Narc Abuse, a micro podcast by Alana Sanborn. This is a micro podcast. It's meant to start your thoughts flowing. It's meant to be the beginning of a conversation, a dialogue, not a monologue. Because we're talking about something that's pretty heavy, my hope is that shorter episodes that are easier to digest will help you without overwhelming you. And here is today's show. When someone is abusive, they will do anything to avoid detection. And so one of the most important facets of the abuse is to isolate you. This can happen in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's a natural consequence of the abuse, like you feel totally alone because no one knows your shameful secret, or they are someone totally different to the outside world than the person you see when you are being treated so poorly. But other times it's more overt. They denigrate your family and friends until they've convinced you not to spend any time with them, or they control your actions so much that you no longer have the free will to seek any outside support or even social interaction, or they outright forbid you to engage with certain people, or they convince you that the people in your life actually hate you. It's essential for abusers to isolate you because once you are isolated, they have so much more power over you. You no longer have any witnesses or allies, and you're much more likely to be brainwashed by them without outside interference. You lose your self-esteem and, frankly, your sense of self. You no longer have what I call healthy mirrors around you, reflecting your authentic self back to you. You now only have this one rotten image of yourself, and it's inescapable. And you probably don't even know it's happening at the time. One of the worst things about narcissistic abuse, well, any form of abuse, is that once you escape the situation, it reverberates for much longer inside your head and your body. The voice of your abuser will haunt you, and you might not even know it's their voice because it sounds just like your voice now. And you still feel isolated even once you're on a path to no contact. You realize your experiences are strange and convoluted, and that people either think you're overreacting or they just don't understand the severity of what you went through. Or worse, they see the outward-facing image of your abuser and believe that is the whole story, when you know there is so much more behind the mask. The best way I know of to combat this enduring sense of isolation is to form healing relationships. Unfortunately, it's also one of the hardest things to do because you have so much trouble trusting yourself now and trusting others. But it is the best antidote against living in the quiet, painful shame of narcissistic abuse recovery. Start with reading or watching videos or listening to podcasts, and you'll begin to see your reflection and the stories you're absorbing. Not the rotten to the core reflection your abuser showed you, but your true reflection. That you are someone who is loving and compassionate and helpful, and that your best qualities were exploited by someone who was meant to care about you. When you're ready, start sharing your own story with other humans. Hopefully you can find someone like me who specializes in narcissistic abuse recovery and get headed down the road of your recovery process with healing relationships. But one way to boost your healing process is to add a community of peers to your life. I've seen time and time again that people who are on this healing journey, no matter what stage they're at with it, understand each other and support each other in such phenomenal ways that it amazes me every single time. There's a way that other survivors speak to each other that helps them feel a sense of shared experience, a sense of not being so isolated and lonely and ashamed. And the way we dissipate shame is by sharing our story with others who witness us and celebrate and encourage us, and by offering ourselves comfort and compassion amidst our darkest times. It's all easier to do when you can wake up in the middle of the night and know you're not alone, that you have a whole group of people who truly get you, rooting you on and offering you support and even evidence of how things can and do get better. There are support communities for narcissistic abuse recovery out there, and I urge you to find one that fits for you. It could be a forum that's free or a paid community where people gather to help each other. I started my Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Space community because I could see how much it helped my people to be held by each other and not just me as a coach. In my community, we have group coaching. I share resources, including private workshops, and people can gather to support each other in this space by sharing their experiences and also sharing what has worked for them on their healing path. I'm going to offer the website and information for my community here, but even if my space is not the right community for you, I encourage you to find one that is. Find the most effective way to stop being isolated and to replace that rotten reflection with supportive mirrors in a safely held community space. Learn how to trust again, both yourself and others. Here's where to learn about my community. It's called the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Space, and this is the website, narcissisticabuserecoveryspace.mn.co. It's on Mighty Networks, so it's not on Facebook or Instagram or any kind of social media site. It's a private space that's confidential, and you have to pay to get in, so nobody can just walk in there and make it unsafe for the rest of us. The fee is $47 a month, and it's a great option for folks who need the support but maybe aren't able to pay for individual coaching with me, or they're not quite ready yet and they need to get to know me better and feel a sense of support in a community space. So I invite you there to fight the isolation of abuse with healing in community. Join us, and hopefully I'll see you in there. Until then, as always, good luck out there and take good care of yourself.